Storyline today is rebuilding a valve. How do we know that the valve went bad? Well, we can do a dry vacuum test that would tell us that we have a problem, but diagnosing and such. In this case, this engine was pumping source to fire straight out of the source and not putting water in its tank. However, after a little bit of pumping the fire, water starts pouring out underneath it. Immediately you run around and look for what broke or why something's leaking, and rapidly figure out that you have water bubbling up the top of the tank and pour it through the overflow spout that's up there. Spout's not the right term. Overflow hole, big giant hole on top of your tank. Pours on the ground. So immediately go and check the pump cooler, the bypass line, to make sure that it's not bleeding some through, because we commonly leave that open to keep some cooling, and that's usually the first thing that I check. It was closed and we were still doing it, so a little more poking and prodding and confirmed that we got a leak in our number 2, our pump to tank. We're gonna pull the number 2 out today and rebuild it. But to confirm that we definitely have an issue, we've gone through, everything's closed, all the valves are closed, so it's, looking at the smallest possible picture on it. And I can do a vacuum test, a quick dry vacuum test. This thing's been winterized for a while, so it will, so it's nice and dry. We'll do a quick vacuum test. We'll have to work. Okay, so quick dry vacuum test, and that'll confirm. Make sure that drain's all the way closed. So we pulled 10, maybe 12 inches of vacuum, and it's gone that quickly. So we've got a pretty significant leak somewhere in that system. Currently suspect is the number 2 valve. So where is my number 2 valve in this guy? There we are. Number 2. Pump the tank, circulates water back in the tank. So we're gonna pull this guy out. It's built-in flanged, so the flange is in the manifold itself, the plumbing. So there's a little bit of, there's some flex hose on the bottom side. Should give us enough, wiggle room to pull that thing out. Looks like pull 8 bolts, slide the valve out, and we'll see what we got. Okay, I didn't bore anybody with the pulling of the bolts, but 4 bolts, the thing comes loose. It's still got the 4 bolts in the bottom, and there's a piece of flex hose there, so it gives you some room to work. Doesn't actually matter on these Akrons if the valve is open or closed. And I think at least on the 1.5" L carts, it doesn't matter either. It depends on the valve design. Either way, if it doesn't slide out, then you can just move the handle and open or close it, and it tends to fix your problem. A little bit shaky and loose. So, you may or may not be able to see it, but you can kind of see the ball in there. When you take it out, in this case it doesn't matter because it opens up and there's lots of space, but if you're working in a tight spot, you might actually have to open the valve to be able to get it to slide out. Probably not really a problem on most of our Type 6s anymore. I don't think. I think there's enough flex fittings in there to where they'd come out pretty easily one way or another. Yeah, maybe that number 5. But some of your older engines, I remember it was an issue with the old Model 45s. Initially looking at this valve, I don't necessarily see that it's a problem. It's a little loose in the top. We know it was leaking. Water was getting by it, and I could ratchet the ball around in there. Looking at it doesn't look at it around, but we'll see. We'll measure it once we get it on the device. So I'll reposition the camera.
Hard to throw those balls out of there.
Yeah.
But someone is good at it.
Okay, so there's a gap right in here. You probably can't see it very well with the camera. You can barely see it. As is, question is the seal bad? The ball's probably not out around. It's a stainless steel ball. Or is the casing out around, and is that our problem? We'll strip this thing down and prep to rebuild it, which I believe starts with the handle portion. I think you start there, and then you pull the rest of the guts out, and then you measure it, and if the housing is bad, then we'll deal with that. But okay, pulling it apart. We don't do this very often, so we have to remind ourselves as we go. We don't have our expert Steve Drake here to help us remember. Lay everything out in order.
Dirty.
Yeah, it is. There's the index line. So the little index line shows you open. Not a big deal on this valve, easy to see. Oh, hex key. So there's a notch on the top of this guy, and that shows you in line with that and for open. It's for indexing when you put this back together, make sure you're going the right way. In theory, we were doing that because you want your handle in line, your handle would go in line like that. Just so happens you can also see this thing open. The other option is you'll have it off to the side. Usually these are on hidden valves, but that would be your index to go one way or the other. Closed to pull one way or the other, but not really gonna play that right now because we don't like to do it that way. I think that gasket is part of the kit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the spring tension on the inside. We'll figure out how to take that guy out here in a minute. No reason to put a whole bunch of effort into it until we can get the until we make sure that it's not, the housing's not whacked out around. Five-eighths wrench. Bottom piece is out. Okay. At this point, we need to just like a flat screwdriver to pop the. Yeah. flat screwdriver. I'd go smaller, but it's Todd's fire engine. Those come in the kit, replacements, so really they're junk. Okay, the ball falls right out. Note the way that this sits in here. There's kind of an oval shaped, but it's more of a rectangle sides in it, and they fit into this slot. So when this guy goes back in, you can only go into that slot one way. Can't get him in there sideways. So you want the valve open when you go to take it out. It makes it a lot easier to get it out and get back in. I think it'll go anyway, but makes it easier. Seem to recall. And that piece comes up, and there's an O-ring in there, which we can replace. And now we need to see if the valve's out. So, tape measure or some calipers. Alright, so if I just measure straight across and I start in the middle somewhere, so there's 5 centimeters. I'm going metric because it has smaller graduations. To 12, say 12.4, maybe just a smidge shy. 5 centimeters to 12.4 is a smidge size, so it's not out around. That's on the all the way outside. Let's take a look on the inside part. 5 to 11 and a half. 5 to pretty close to 11 and a half. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. I don't think it's the housing. If it is, it's minor. Yeah, it's all coming out good. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's rebuild the valve. So, I'm just to start pulling pieces out, and I don't remember the optimum order of operation here, but I took this guy out last, so he's going to go in first. One convenient thing is with the kit, it does come with instructions. So if you ever need a little help, field service kit instructions gives you all the numbers and names for all the portions and the kind of how it goes together piece, and then a step-by-step of how to take it apart, put that together. Yeah. So we'll see if we follow those instructions or not, but they're there. They're useful. Okay, so we're actually following the instructions on the reinstall. That's the ball trunnion. Ball trunnion? Yeah. And it goes in here. We got to replace the O-ring. So we pulled that O-ring off, and we'll put it in the garbage probably. And then we'll put some lubricant on it. Doesn't take much. And if we actually come up here, it'll be in focus. It's an educational video.
Get on there.
Okay, what kind of lubricant did we use?
Waterproof silicone.
Yeah, that'll work.
Wash away.
Yeah, they recommend something else. So it goes a little farther down. It sits in this recess right here, right between where the two colors were different colors. Okay, and that guy goes in there, and he sits all the way into this ring that was already in place. We never took the ring off. Okay, according to the instructions, we then replace the top plate, put the screws in. You put the screws in before we change that O-ring, or?
I'm not sure on that one.
Instructions are hanging right behind me. I'm at least gonna thread them in there so I don't lose them. I don't think it matters, truly. Nice little flat screwdriver here. We'll just get underneath that O-ring, fish them out of there, throw them away. You need a comparison. Where did you find it?
Should be that one.
Yeah. Looks good. Right over the top. Okay. Falls into place. I just kind of touch him down there a little bit. Make sure he's actually in. And we can tighten this guy down. Uh-oh, what did I drop? Oh,
Custom.
copy, custom tools.
Want to stop?
What's that? No, we'll just keep going. Battery's not showing any wear. I'm just taking everything down to snug. Okay, and then I'll give it a tightening. Custom. Okay, I believe at this point we, I think it seems a bit loose, but tighten down here in a minute, I'm sure. Now when you put the ball in, put the lower trunnion in. This is the threaded trunnion, it's called. Were you gonna change this ball out, Todd, or?
I got one just in case.
Okay, I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's got a little bit of scratch marks and stuff on it, but so does the other one, so. Okay, so there is an O-ring on the threaded trunnion. It's the piece that goes in the bottom here. So, O-ring has been lubricated and reinstalled. It's going to go up this way. So, slide this guy in, hold him in place. Fish thread in my threaded trunnion. There it goes. Okay, so at this point it's holding itself in there. Ball fits a little loose, but it's okay. Go back to the 5/8. Snug him down. I think now we install the those guys called? Seats. Place the new seats into the recess on either side of the valve body. So, those are the new seats. Do not put lubricant on them. Okay. Snapped into place quite nicely, just by hand. I think that's it. I don't think you have to do anything. You have to put them in there. Okay. Reinstall the handle. Okay, that stop can go either way. Assume you want it to go. Does that work? Wow, there's some. Yeah. I don't like the spring and tension in that. We gotta go the other way?
Yeah, I gotta go the other way with it.
Okay. So if we leave it like that, it would open this way and close like that. Open like that and close like that, but we actually need it to close on this side. So. And I think that's going to be a problem. The spring. So that would go like that. Closed, open. That appears to be what the spring is used to because it seems to be wanting to perform a little better. Didn't miss any parts, did we?
No.
The only thing we have are the 3 extra.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So there's a little bit of a snap. It's not really a snap, it's just, you can kind of feel it. That's a good thing. Okay, we're fixed. At this point, we need to reinstall. Ball still floats in there a little bit more than I like, but need to reinstall and we'll go to test and see if it works. Okay, so there it is, reinstalled. Key thing, those plastic, poly, whatever they are, flanges that sit in there. When we bolt it together, they're going to compress in there and hold that ball into place. So when we bolted this back in, we went corner to corner and corner to corner, you know, brought it all in fairly tight and then tightened it across just to get it even. You know, nothing too fancy there, but that will help you to keep things even and seated. Definitely a little bit more snug than it was. Feeling better, right, Todd?
Yep.
You happy?
Well, we're about to find out.
And this cool thing is we'll be able to do a quick vacuum test here. Hold on, I'm looking at the wrong. Still upside down. I know. It kills me. Okay, good enough. It's better? Not very much. Okay, well,
One down.
I think it was, I mean, that helped a little, but it's still a bit of an issue. That's pretty tight. Well, we still believe that we helped the situation, even though that guy's not working, and we're gonna need to go through and find out some more, but that's how you rebuild a valve. An Elkhart, sorry, strike that, an Akron. That was an Akron valve. An Elkhart valve is a little bit different. It is designed to take pressure one way, so it has to go in the right way with the flat side, because it's only got one flat side on an Elkhart. You want that flat side facing out, not in. It seats itself that way. And we'll try and rebuild an Elkhart next time I run across one and put that in a video too. But that's an Akron for you. They're pretty easy, really. They're pretty easy. And the other part of it is it's a lot cheaper than trying to buy a new one. A new valve's gonna run you for each and a half, probably, I don't know, $300. Just a rough estimate, but it's probably in the ballpark. The rebuild kits run 20 bucks, like 20 bucks or so. You find them online. If you're looking for Elkharts, there's a company in Washington, I think it's MS, I'll have to look it up and get it out to people, but they have the best prices on them. But yeah, Akrons, I think I was buying them from Cascade. They're in Eugene. Cascade Fire. And that was the best price I could find. So, roughly 20 bucks. A lot cheaper than a whole new valve. So we just rebuilt the valve, but we still can't pass the dry vacuum test. We're gonna put air to it and see if we can figure out where the leak might be coming from. Yeah, where the leak is. If we can't pass the dry vacuum test and this thing is dead dry, it's been winterized for quite a while now. We're looking for somewhere where there's gonna be, leaking something. We were sure that the number 2 was bad, and I think it was. So we're gonna hook air up to it and listen, see if we can hear it. It's dry, so it's hard to hear. Usually it's better with water, but we'll see if there's something obvious. Yes, there's something obvious. Okay, so we can hear air flowing into the tank. Go up there and look, and he's putting his hand over where the return line comes in, where the number 2 goes back into the tank, making sure that's not it. Node number 2. Or the bypass. It's in the same location. So either a valve rebuild was unsuccessful, which is possible, or yeah, the bypass is blowing air through it, water through it. Okay, so we replaced the valve, or repaired the valve, rebuilt the valve, and we still have a significant vacuum leak. We put compressed air to it. We can hear air going into the tank. Todd climbed up there, put his arm down in the tank, could tell it was coming through the return line like it was coming through the number 2, the valve we just rebuilt. So in an attempt to try to figure out what has gone wrong, disconnected the bottom portion from the valve. I should be able to put my hand in here and I should feel if the air, once we plug the air back in, is coming from the top through the valve or if it's coming from the bottom through the recirc. So that way we can figure out what the problem is and hopefully then come up with a solution. I'm ready. There's no doubt about it, it's coming through the valve. Okay, so go ahead and hit it again. That's fucking weird. Okay, well, it's coming through the valve. It's coming right around the ball. So either we did it wrong, which is possible, or something worse is wrong in there and we can't tell what it is. So we'll pull that thing back out and. Okay, so we rebuilt the valve and the valve still leaks. So what's the problem? Well, we didn't like it when we could hear the rattling and the movement that's in there. That ball is just a little too loose. Talked to some other experts, and up and down movement's not too bad, but the side to side movement is not good. So currently the theory we're working off of is the threaded trunnion on the bottom is just worn. So that ball can move back and forth too much. So we ordered a new threaded trunnion. We'll install that and we'll see if that fixes the leak.